What happens when a beloved Hollywood star sits down expecting a friendly conversation, and the table suddenly turns into a pressure cooker? Make sure to subscribe to the Star Talks and like and comment for more talk show coverage. Joy Behar leans forward with a smile that feels practiced but curious. All right, we're back. Our next guest needs no introduction. Academy Award winner, producer, activist, and honestly one of America's sweethearts, Anne Hathaway is here. The audience applauds loudly. And walks in waves, hugs Joy, exchanges quick cheek kisses with Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. She sits, smoothing her blazer, clearly relaxed. Whoopi nods toward her. Good to see you. And smiles. It's really good to be here. Truly. Joy jumps in quickly. You're producing now, acting, raising 2 kids. How are you even breathing? And laughs lightly. Some days I'm not. But I'm grateful. I've reached a stage where I get to choose projects that actually mean something to me. Sunny tilts her head, listening closely. And those projects lately have had a lot to do with women's rights, reproductive freedom, equal pay. You've been very vocal. And nods. I think when you have a platform, it's irresponsible not to use it, especially when policies directly affect people's lives. There's a murmur of approval from the audience. Sarah smiles. You've always spoken about empathy. That seems to be your through line. Anne's tone is calm. Empathy and listening. Those 2 things are missing in a lot of conversations right now. Sunny adjusts in her chair. Listening is important, yes. But so is accountability. And turns slightly toward Sunny, still smiling. Of course. Sunny continues, measured but firm. You've spoken out strongly about certain Supreme Court decisions, about lawmakers, about systems you say are oppressive. But some critics say celebrities simplify very complex legal issues. The audience makes a soft, ooh sound. And smile tightens just a bit. I don't pretend to be a legal scholar. But I am a woman. And I understand what it means when choices are taken away. Whoopi interjects gently. That's a lived experience. Sunny nods but doesn't let go. Sure. But you've also said anyone who disagrees is lacking empathy. Do you stand by that? And pauses. I said that policies lacking compassion reflect a lack of empathy. Not individuals. Sunny raises an eyebrow. But that's not how it came across to a lot of people. Joy senses the shift. All right, let's. And speaks before Joy can finish. If someone felt personally attacked, that wasn't my intention. But I won't apologize for calling out harm. Applause breaks out. Sunny waits for it to die down. Sunny's voice stays calm, but firmer now. Here's where I struggle. When celebrities speak, millions listen. There's power there. But there's also responsibility to represent opposing views fairly. And looks directly at Sunny. I don't think human rights are an opposing view. The audience reacts louder this time, claps, some gasps. Alyssa leans in. But Sunny's point is about dialogue, Anne. If you shut people down. And turns to Alyssa briefly. I'm not shutting people down. I'm drawing boundaries. Whoopi chuckles. Lord, here we go. Sunny folds her hands. Boundaries are personal. But when you label disagreement as immoral, that's different. And exhales slowly. Sunny, with respect, when laws endanger lives, neutrality becomes complicity. The room feels tighter now. Even Joy looks serious. Joy tries to ease it. This is clearly something people feel deeply about. Sunny doesn't smile. I do feel deeply. I'm a lawyer. I've spent my life in courtrooms where nuance matters. And nods. And I respect that. Truly. But I've spent my life listening to women who don't have lawyers, who don't have platforms, who don't have choices. The audience applauds again longer. Sunny waits, then responds. But is it fair to suggest people who interpret the Constitution differently are somehow cruel? Anne's voice stays steady. If the outcome causes suffering, we have to question the interpretation. A brief silence hangs. Whoopi breaks it. Phew. Okay, let me say this. People at home are definitely paying attention right now. Joy laughs nervously. Yes, Twitter just woke up. Sarah looks between them. And, did you expect this kind of pushback today? And shakes her head honestly. I didn't come here for a fight. But I won't dodge tough questions. Sunny responds immediately. And I'm not trying to fight you. I'm challenging the narrative. And leans forward now, elbows lightly on the table. Then let's challenge it together. But let's not pretend the stakes are theoretical. Sunny's jaw tightens. They're not theoretical to me either. The audience murmurs again, sensing the personal edge. Whoopi raises a hand slightly. This is live TV, folks. This is what real conversation looks like. Joy nods. And it's uncomfortable sometimes. And glances at Sunny. I actually appreciate you pushing back. I do. But I need you to understand, silence costs people their futures. Sunny responds, a hint of emotion breaking through. And rhetoric costs people dialogue. The tension is thick now. No one interrupts. And softens her tone just slightly. Then maybe the question is why dialogue so often excludes the people most affected. Sunny looks down for a split second, then back up. Or why celebrities assume they speak for them. The audience reacts sharply, mixed applause, some boos. Whoopi leans back. All right, we're going to take a breath. Joy points toward the camera. When we come back, we're continuing this conversation, because clearly, it's not done. And then Sunny exchange a look, not hostile, but unresolved. The camera begins to pull back as the audience buzzes, whispering, clapping, debating among themselves. And the tension doesn't fade, it lingers. The camera comes back up to applause that's louder than usual, mixed with a restless energy. Some people are clapping enthusiastically, others cautiously. And sits upright, hands folded. Sunny has her notes in front of her now, glasses slightly lower on her nose. Joy exhales into the mic. All right, we're back. Clearly this conversation struck a nerve, not just here, but at home. Whoopi nods slowly. Yeah, phones are lighting up. Sunny turns slightly toward Anne, her tone controlled but unmistakably serious. I want to clarify something before we go further. I'm not questioning your intentions. I believe you care deeply. And meets her eyes. Thank you. Sunny continues. But caring deeply doesn't exempt someone from critique. And nods again. Agreed. Sarah leans in, trying to soften the space. This is actually why this show exists. Different perspectives at the same table. Sunny gestures lightly with her pen. Exactly. And my concern is about influence. When you say things like neutrality equals complicity, that frames disagreement as moral failure. And responds immediately. Because sometimes it is. The audience reacts, a wave of claps, then scattered boos. Joy raises her eyebrows. Well, Sunny lifts her hand slightly, asking for a moment. And, let me finish the thought. In law, two people can look at the same text and come to different conclusions without either being evil. Anne's voice stays calm but firm. But the impact of those conclusions matters more than the intent behind them. Sunny presses. Then where does dialogue live? And tilts her head. Dialogue lives in acknowledging harm first. Alyssa jumps in. But harm can be subjective. And turns toward her. Loss of bodily autonomy isn't subjective. A sharp audience reaction follows, louder this time. Whoopi leans forward. Okay. We're not going to talk over each other. Sunny looks at Anne steadily. You're framing this as obvious, undeniable truth. But millions of women disagree with you. And nods. I know they do. Sunny, do you think they lack empathy? And pauses longer than before. You can almost feel her choosing her words. I think many of them are acting from fear, faith, or misinformation. A collective gasp ripples through the audience. Sunny's eyebrows lift. Misinformation. And doesn't back down. Yes. About medical realities. About history. About who is actually harmed. Joy jumps in quickly. All right, let's. Sunny doesn't look away from Anne. That's exactly my issue. When disagreement is dismissed as ignorance, conversation stops. Anne's voice tightens just slightly. And when suffering is dismissed as opinion, justice stops. There's a beat of silence. Whoopi lets out a low whistle. Sarah looks visibly uncomfortable. Can I ask something? And, when you speak out, are you speaking as an activist or as an artist? And answers without hesitation. As a human being. Sunny responds just as quickly. But people don't hear it that way. They hear Anne Hathaway, Oscar winner. And spreads her hands. I can't take my name off my voice. Sunny nods. No, but you can be mindful of how it lands. And leans forward again. Sunny, do you know how many women message me saying they finally felt seen because someone famous said what they were afraid to? The audience applauds strongly. Sunny waits. And do you know how many message me saying they feel erased when celebrities speak for them? The applause softens, but some people clap again. And looks genuinely taken aback. Erased how? Sunny's tone shifts, more personal now. Like their values, their beliefs, their voices don't count unless they align with Hollywood. Alyssa nods. That's real. And exhales. I never want to erase anyone. But I won't elevate beliefs that restrict freedom. Sunny responds sharply. But who defines freedom? And doesn't hesitate? The people living with the consequences. Sunny taps her pen against the table. Which people? Anne's voice rises just a notch. The ones without power. The audience reacts loudly, clapping, murmurs, a few shouts of agreement. Whoopi raises her voice. All right. Let's slow this down. Joy looks directly at Anne. Do you think there's room for compromise here? And thinks. On dignity? No. Sunny leans back slightly, crossing her arms. That's exactly what I mean. And turns to her. Sunny, compromise sounds reasonable until you're the one being compromised. The room goes quiet again. Sunny speaks carefully. And absolutism sounds righteous until it shuts down democracy. A murmur spreads through the audience. Sarah looks between them. This feels less like policy now and more like philosophy. And nods. Because it is. Sunny nods too. Exactly. Whoopi rubs her temple. Y'all are giving me a headache, but in a good way. A brief laugh breaks the tension, but it doesn't last long. Sunny leans forward again. And, let me ask you something directly. Do you believe someone can oppose your position and still be a good person? And answers slowly. Yes. Sunny. Then why does your language sometimes suggest otherwise? And looks down for a moment, then back up. Because I'm angry. The admission catches everyone off guard. The audience quiets. And continues, her voice steadier but raw. I'm angry at watching progress roll back. I'm angry at seeing stories repeat. And yes, sometimes that anger shows. Sunny's expression softens just a fraction. Anger is understandable. But when it comes from power, it can silence. And looks directly at Sunny. And when restraint comes from comfort, it can delay change. The audience reacts again, louder, split. Whoopi interjects. Okay, both of those things can be true. Joy nods. That's the reality. Alyssa adds, this is why people feel so divided. Sunny sighs. I don't want division. I want accountability. And responds immediately. So do I. Sunny looks at her. Then maybe start by acknowledging that not everyone who disagrees is your enemy. Anne's jaw tightens. I never said they were. Sunny raises an eyebrow. You implied it. And shakes her head. You interpreted it that way. A sharp intake of breath from Sunny. That's dismissive. And leans back slightly. And that's defensive. The audience audibly reacts, a mix of oh and clapping. Whoopi raises both hands. Okay. We're not going to label each other. Joy looks at the camera briefly, then back. Clearly, this is hitting something deeper than policy. Sunny's voice lowers. It is. It's about who gets to define morality. And responds softly but firmly. And who bears the cost when morality is debated endlessly. The table goes quiet again. You can feel that something has shifted, not explosive, but heavier, more personal. Joy finally speaks. When we come back, I want to talk about how this conversation followed and beyond this table, because it didn't start today. And looks surprised. Sunny looks alert. The audience leans in, sensing the next layer. And whatever restraint was left is starting to crack. The audience applause when the show returns is uneven now. Some people clapping hard, others sitting back with crossed arms. The energy feels heavier, more watchful. And takes a sip of water. Sunny straightens her papers, but doesn't look at them. Joy looks serious. Before the break, we teased something important. And this conversation didn't start today. You've been trending more than once for your comments. And nods slowly. I'm aware. Sunny finally looks directly at her. And those comments weren't just headlines. They had consequences. And turns fully towards Sunny. Tell me what you mean. Sunny takes a breath. After your last speech, my inbox was flooded. Not with disagreement, with hostility. People saying anyone who doesn't agree with you is heartless, ignorant, dangerous. A quiet murmur runs through the audience. Anne's face tightens. I never asked anyone to attack anyone. Sunny responds quickly. But words create permission. And shakes her head. So do laws. Alyssa jumps in. And Sunny's talking about tone. About escalation. And replies, her voice firm. And I'm talking about urgency. Whoopi leans forward. Both of y'all are talking past each other. Sarah nods. Yeah, it feels like you're debating impact versus intent. Sunny points gently. Exactly. And exhales. Okay, then let's talk about impact. Sunny waits. And continues. The impact of silence from people with visibility is normalization. It tells those in power that backlash will fade. Sunny responds. And the impact of absolutist language is polarization. Anne's eyes don't leave Sunny. Polarization didn't start with me. Sunny's jaw tightens. But amplification matters. Joy jumps in, trying to keep balance. And, did you ever consider dialing it back? And answers honestly. No. A ripple of reaction spreads through the audience. And adds, because every time I thought about being quieter, I thought about who benefits from that. Sunny leans back slightly. And did you think about who gets hurt when rhetoric turns moral? And replies sharper now. The hurt already exists. I didn't invent it. The audience reacts loudly again. Whoopi raises her voice. Okay, but listen. Live TV means we gotta listen. Sunny nods. And, do you recognize that your anger, which you admitted, might make people feel judged rather than invited? And pauses. Yes. Sunny's eyebrows lift. Then why keep that tone? Anne's voice lowers. Because invitation didn't work. The audience goes quiet. And continues, more emotional now. I tried being palatable. I tried being careful. I tried saying things gently. And nothing changed. Sunny responds calmly. Change is slow. And looks at her. Tell that to someone whose life just got smaller. A few audience members clap softly. Sarah speaks carefully. This feels very personal for you. And nods. It is. Sunny tilts her head. How? And hesitates, then speaks. I've had private conversations with women in my industry, powerful women, who made choices in silence because they were afraid. Afraid of backlash, of losing work, of being labeled. Sunny listens, expression unreadable. And continues. So when I speak loudly, it's not just me speaking. Sunny replies, but you're still the one with the microphone. And nods. I know. Sunny leans in. And that's why I'm pushing you. And meets her halfway. And that's why I'm pushing back. The audience reacts, tension mixed with appreciation. Joy sighs. This is one of those moments where there's no commercial-friendly answer. Whoopi smirks. Too late for that. Alyssa looks at Sunny. Do you think Anne should stop speaking? Sunny shakes her head. No. I think she should speak differently. And responds instantly. Differently how? Sunny answers carefully. With acknowledgement that moral certainty can alienate. And counters. And with acknowledgement that endless nuance can stall justice. The audience reacts again louder. Whoopi claps once. Okay, that was a bar. A brief laugh breaks out, but Sunny doesn't smile. Sunny responds. Justice without persuasion isn't sustainable. And fires back. Persuasion without consequences isn't effective. A sharp intake of breath from the audience. Joy interjects. All right, let me ask something that viewers are asking right now. And, do you regret any specific wording you've used? And thinks. I regret when my words caused pain to people who weren't my target. Sunny nods. That matters. And adds quickly. But I don't regret the message. Sunny responds. And I respect that honesty. There's a pause, not hostile but heavy. Sarah looks relieved. That's the first common ground I've heard. Sunny glances at Anne. Common ground doesn't mean agreement. And replies softly. I don't need agreement. I need movement. Sunny's tone sharpens again. Movement toward what end? And answers without hesitation. Toward autonomy. Sunny leans back, arms crossing. And if autonomy conflicts with deeply held beliefs? And responds. Belief shouldn't control someone else's body. The audience reacts strongly, applause, a few boos. Whoopi raises her hands again. Okay, audience, we hear you. Sunny looks at Anne. This is why people feel talked down to. And looks genuinely frustrated now. Sunny, I'm not talking down. I'm talking straight. Sunny responds. Straight can still land as dismissive. Anne's voice cracks just slightly. And polite can still be harmful. The room goes quiet again. Joy looks between them. This feels like two truths colliding. Sunny nods. Yes. And nods too. Yes. Alyssa adds. And that collision is what viewers are living with. Sunny looks at Anne again. Do you think you've become a symbol more than a person? And swallows. Sometimes. Sunny presses gently. Does that worry you? And answers honestly. Yes. Because symbols get simplified. Sunny nods slowly. Exactly. And looks at her. But silence simplifies too. Another beat. Whoopi speaks quietly now. This is one of those conversations that doesn't end neatly. Joy nods. And we're almost out of time. Sunny straightens. One last thing, Anne. If someone watching right now disagrees with you, what do you want them to feel? And takes a breath. Challenged. Not shamed. Sunny replies. Then say that more. And looks at her. Fair. The audience applauds, not explosive, but genuine. Joy smiles slightly. When we come back, we'll talk about what happened after this conversation. Because trust me, it didn't stop here. And exhales. Sunny nods once. The tension hasn't exploded. But it hasn't resolved either. And everyone at the table knows the aftermath is about to be louder than the argument itself. The applause when the show returns is immediate and intense, like the audience knows they're watching the final chapter of something bigger than a segment. Some people are standing. Others are filming on their phones. The energy is no longer tense, it's charged. Joy lets the clapping go a little longer than usual. Okay. Wow. If you're just joining us, yes, this has been one of those conversations. Whoopi nods, looking out at the crowd. And let me say this up front, nobody stormed off backstage. Everybody's still breathing. A few laughs ripple through the audience, breaking the heaviness just enough. And sits a little differently now. Her shoulders aren't as tight, but her expression is serious. Sunny has put her notes down completely. Joy continues. Since this conversation started earlier today, our producers have been monitoring reactions. Social media has been active. Sarah chuckles nervously. That's one way to put it. Joy turns to Anne. And, during the break, did you realize how big this moment had become? And exhales. Honestly, I knew it mattered. I didn't know it would land like this. Sunny looks at her. It landed because it was real. And meets her eyes. So was your pushback. The audience applauds lightly. Whoopi leans forward. Let's talk aftermath because people at home always want to know. What happens after the cameras stop? Sunny nods. That's the part nobody sees. Joy gestures between Anne and Sunny. You two disagreed very publicly. Does that create distance afterward? Sunny answers first. Not automatically. Disagreement doesn't mean disrespect. And nods. I agree with that. Sunny continues. But it does create responsibility, especially when people weaponize clips. And looks down briefly. That part has already started. Joy raises her eyebrows. It has. And nods. I glanced at my phone during the break. There are already headlines framing this as a meltdown or a shutdown. Sunny shakes her head. That's unfortunate. And looks up. Because that's not what happened here. Sunny agrees. No. What happened here was conflict. Whoopi snaps her fingers once. Say it louder. The audience laughs and claps. Sarah adds. Conflict that wasn't performative. Sunny nods. Exactly. Joy turns to Sunny. Sunny, you're trending right now too. Sunny sighs. I figured. Joy reads from a card. Some people are praising you for holding the line. Others are accusing you of defending oppression. Sunny shakes her head slowly. That's the danger of flattening conversations. And jumps in. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Sunny looks at her. I know. That acknowledgement lands heavily. The audience reacts with soft applause. Whoopi looks between them. Did either of you feel misunderstood? And answers immediately. Yes. Sunny answers just as quickly. Also yes. A laugh ripples through the room, easing the tension again. Joy leans forward. And, after today, are you going to change how you speak publicly? And thinks carefully. I'm going to be more explicit about what I'm asking for, not just what I'm angry about. Sunny nods. That matters. And adds, but I won't dilute my convictions. Sunny responds calmly. I wouldn't expect you to. The audience applauds more strongly now. Alyssa looks thoughtful. This conversation feels like a mirror of what's happening in the country. Whoopi nods. Everybody's yelling. Nobody's listening. Sunny adds. Or everybody's listening only to respond. And looks at her. I've been guilty of that. Sunny meets her gaze. So have I. That admission draws a louder reaction from the audience. Surprise, appreciation, applause. Joy smiles softly. That's growth on live TV. And laughs quietly. That's terrifying on live TV. Sunny allows herself a small smile. Welcome to daytime. The audience laughs. Joy shifts tone slightly. After the show today, producers tell us there were heated discussions backstage too. Not arguments, but conversations. Whoopi nods. People weren't running away. They were leaning in. And looks relieved. That means more to me than applause. Sunny agrees. Me too. Joy continues. Viewers are divided. Some say this was long overdue. Others say it was uncomfortable. Whoopi shrugs. Truth usually is. Sunny adds, Comfort isn't the goal of democracy. And nods. But neither is cruelty. Sunny looks at her. Agreed. Another beat of shared understanding. Sarah asks gently, if you could say one thing to viewers who felt hurt by this conversation, what would it be? And answers first. I hear you, even if I disagree with you. Sunny follows. And disagreement doesn't erase your humanity. The audience applauds, longer and warmer than before. Joy exhales. That's a good place to land. And glances at Sunny. I'm glad we didn't soften this for TV. Sunny nods. Me too. Whoopi leans back. Y'all gave people something to chew on. Joy looks directly into the camera now. And that's what we aim to do here. Not settle debates, but surface them. And sits back, visibly tired but grounded. Sunny straightens her posture. For what it's worth, and I don't question your heart. And looks at her, clearly moved. And I don't question your integrity. The audience breaks into applause again, this time unanimous. Joy smiles. That's the sound of people recognizing complexity. Whoopi chuckles. Don't get used to it. Laughter fills the room. Joy begins to wrap up. After today's show, clips will circulate. Opinions will fly. Some people will feel validated. Others will feel challenged. And nods. I hope they talk to each other, not just about each other. Sunny adds, and I hope they listen as hard as they speak. Joy looks into the camera again. That's our time for today. She pauses, then adds with intention. Now we want to hear from you. The audience quiets slightly. Joy continues. What did you think about this conversation? Did it make her case? Did Sunny raise important concerns? Where do you stand? Whoopi points playfully at the lens. And don't just yell at your screen. Sarah smiles. Have the conversation. Joy finishes clearly and directly. Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Star Talks for more real talk show stories. The applause rises one final time as the camera pulls back. And in Sunny exchange a final look. Not agreement, not defeat, but mutual recognition. The kind that only happens when something real actually happens on live television. And the conversation clearly is far from over.